Inside Look TV brings you the Phoenix Awards Gala to benefit the Congressional Black Caucus Foundation. Throughout the week, hundreds of people have been mixing with celebrities, politicians, and business leaders in a series of conferences to inform and educate. The Congressional Black Caucus is a nonprofit, nonpartisan research, public policy, and educational institute that seeks to advance the global black community. I'm looking forward to interviewing some politicians and other VIP guests that have been invited to this beautiful dinner. I'm Jane Ruby. Come along with me for the Inside Look. What do you think of the evening? What do you think of the evening, sir?
Oh, great evening, great speech.
Why do you feel it's important to support the Congressional Black Caucus, sir?
Well, number one, they are projecting youth into the future with experience and education and money. They're also looking back on the past, the bridges that brought us across. It was a great, exciting, historical event, very emotional, very exciting.
Love history. One of your greatest inspirational sources.
Good night, everybody. Thank you so much.
Without a doubt, Martin Luther King.
So many to choose from tonight, right?
Yeah, and tonight to hear Reverend Barber talk about voting rights and the others that were honored, Ms. Abernathy, all of them an inspiration.
Why is it so important to support the Congressional Black Caucus Foundation?
It's important because, as you can see, we provide scholarships and fellowships for young African Americans in college and graduate school so that they can become leaders. In some kind of way, it's our duty to pave the way for generations yet unborn.
I've been blessed to live to see the first African-American president and to have the opportunity to serve in Congress while he serves our country.
Well, we're honored to speak with you tonight.
Well, it's my honor to be here.
Now, I know you have so many role models to choose from, but who are some of your greatest inspirations?
Well, Dr. King, obviously, because of what he did to move civil rights and human rights forward. He's been a great, great mentor for me. I love to quote him, "Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. The arc of the moral universe is long, but it bends toward justice." Just so many beautiful things that he said that are so meaningful to us. And let me just say to everyone, this event is really about America, not just about the CBC. And it's important for us to realize that when we say Black Lives Matter, we say it because we know all lives matter, and we just want to let people know that there are some things that we have to correct. It's meant to be a positive message to all of America, and I'm grateful that you'll take it to the masses, and thank you for being here.
How do you feel on this fabulous evening?
Oh, this is a great evening. The awardees were great, and I like President Obama's comments, particularly regarding uplifting our women and pointing out that so many of them played such instrumental parts in the civil rights movement. It was great.
It was a wonderful culmination of the evening. Judge, tell us who some of your role models or inspirations have been.
Well, a couple of them were here tonight, but you know, I started working in public policy and in public life as a young adult coming out of college, and I was able to work for the mayor of the city of Detroit, and then Jesse Jackson, who was here today. I've worked for many, many years for him, and so those are the guys who helped shape my life, and I wouldn't have been able to run and win a judgeship were it not for the civil rights movement and those folks that helped.
Very much so.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about, why it's important for folks to support the Congressional Black Caucus Foundation.
Yeah, it's the work we do. I do sit as a board member, and there we not only help place young people with fellowships on Capitol Hill. We also fund much of their scholarships in many instances. Secondly, we're now embarking upon giving information on public policy that's being debated and discussed in Congress so folks can read it and do what they will. We're non-partisan, but folks can read it and do what's best to serve their interests and the interests of their community.
Tell us why you think the Congressional Black Caucus Foundation, why it's so important for folks to support it.
I think first and foremost, the Congressional Black Caucus has grown significantly to now over 43 members. And when we talk about issues, whether it is an issue like climate change, whether it is an issue like health, whether it is criminal justice, the Congressional Black Caucus has been in the forefront of not just raising, but getting these issues addressed and getting legislation through our Congress to address these issues. So it is eminently important that the Congressional Black Caucus be supported because the Congressional Black Caucus is creating the climate in communities around our nation, not just communities of color, but communities in general, representing the person who historically has had no voice, whoever he or she may be, whatever ethnic group he or she may be of.
Are you still hopeful for the future?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, this is a difficult time in our nation's history, and particularly when leadership is not willing to compromise and work together. But I am definitely hopeful, and I will always be hopeful.
It's good to know. It's an honor to speak with you and your family tonight.
Thank you.
Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you. How you feel about some of the festivities tonight. Wasn't it a wonderful night?
This was absolutely exceptional, and I enjoyed every moment of it. There was so much history in this room, so much about the Voting Rights Act and all of the suffrage and everything that African Americans have had to put up with, and how we're moving forward and how the Congressional Black Caucus is helping in that issue.
Who have been some of your role models that have inspired you, either as a woman or just in general in your career?
Well, my school principal when I was a little girl, and I grew up to be a principal because I wanted to be just like her.
What was it about your principal?
She was resolute, she was kind, but she was stern, and we loved her and we listened to her because we wanted to make her proud. So I tried to pattern myself after her. After leaving college and becoming a teacher, I wanted to become a principal, and I became a principal. Also Rosa Parks, I'm sort of like that. You can't make me do something. If I'm right, I'm going to be right, and I'm going to fight until I make it right.
Absolutely. What do you think the future is of the Congressional Black Caucus Foundation? What other new heights do you think they'll go to?
Well, we're growing, and every time, the more we grow, the more we can touch the people, the more people we can impact. My favorite part about the Congressional Black Caucus are the scholarships that we award every year. And I am so pleased to award those scholarships in my district. Also, the Congressional Black Caucus Institute has a trip each year where we work with black families. So I just love all of that. Yeah, so far-reaching.
And one last question. How many of those beautiful hats do you have?
I have too many to count.
I'd love to see your closet someday. It's such an honor to speak with you and have you and your family here tonight. Tell us maybe some of your feelings around the events tonight. So many amazing people and paying tribute, of course, to your father.
Well, I think tonight was really about, for me, making the connections with the past and the history, and everything just reminding us that there were those who came before who paved the way for us. And we too, as was said this morning in the prayer breakfast, we too have a calling and a responsibility to prepare the way for a generation behind us. And so all of the sacrifices that have been made by Amelia Boynton and Attorney Fred Gray, Juanita Abernathy, and so many others, obviously my parents and so many others, Julian Bond, who's gone on, and it's just tremendous, and we have to keep the history alive for future generations, because saying if you don't know your history, you're bound to repeat it.
Keeps the path.
Exactly. My mother has a wonderful saying, and it's struggle is a never-ending process. Freedom is never really won. You earn it and win it in every generation. And I think tonight is an example of that, showing us the historical struggle, but yet there's so many other things that we have to conquer in every generation, and every generation has a call and a responsibility to the freedom struggle.
It's wonderful to talk to you about it, and here at the Congressional Black Caucus Foundation and the work that they do. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
My pleasure. With all the wonderful role models around you and all the work that you've done and the contributions you've made, who keeps you going? Who's been your inspiration?
Wow, what a wonderful question. First of all, there's so many different women that have been mentors to me, starting, of course, first with your own family. My mom, Ivelita, my aunt, Valerie, my grandmother, who we call Mother, my other grandmother we call Mom. But there are women that have been in my life, from teachers to women who are current around me now. Certainly I'm going to cite Hillary Rodham Clinton. I would say that she's someone who I see that has a future in leadership in this country. Certainly the Honorable Barbara Jordan, the Honorable Shirley Chisholm, who's been an enormous and great leader that we've respected and admired. Some of the activists who worked with Cesar Chavez, for example. The farm workers were people. There were many women. They're unnamed and unnoticed. The foot soldiers in the civil rights movement who are unnamed and unnoticed. In my own community, Rosa Parks, many people know her name. Maybe not Amelia Boynton Robinson. They may not know that name as much as they may have known Rosa Parks. Coretta Scott King, Mrs. Abernathy, who we honored. All of these women in their own way, we've seen them in headlights. We've also seen them in tragedy. We've seen their courage. And it's given me an opportunity with my own home training, as they say, to say that if they can do what they did, if they can suffer bombings to their homes, if the mothers who lost sons in wars, I do a lot with Gold Star moms and Blue Star moms. Those are women whose sons were wounded, and Gold Star sons who were lost. If those women can keep on going, then I can certainly keep on going and work for the best.
Wow. Well, that's it for the 45th Annual Conference and Gala. This week, we're over 70 public forums on education, empowerment, the environment, so many wonderful topics. And what an evening we had tonight. We saw Senator Hillary Clinton. We heard from the president himself this evening, and I had the great pleasure of speaking with Reverend Jesse Jackson, Reverend Al Sharpton, Representative Elijah Cummings, Judge Mathis. What an unbelievable lineup of inspirational people, and just such a spectacular night. Well, that's it for this edition of Inside Look TV. Thanks for joining us. Check us out online and social media. I'm your host, Jane Ruby. I'll be looking for you next time.
Thank you to the CBC Foundation, and thank you to the members of the CBC.